with the markets plunging yesterday, I think it's one of the worst things that we've been seeing. As 45 spent Monday sightseeing in India, the U.S. stock market plunged amid growing concerns about the deadly virus spreading quickly across continents. They're talking about the coronavirus. A split screen that brought into stark relief how the coronavirus is testing the White House and undercutting 45's central re-election message. The 45's administration's disjointed handling of the outbreak has faced mounting criticism as the squatter's allies have scrambled to take preventive steps while seeking to reassure the public, at times struggling to explain their decisions and offer a consistent message. The squatter's strategy of publicly downplaying the threat that the virus poses to the United States was undermined Monday as the Dow Jones Industrial Average, a measure he follows closely, dropped more than 1,000 points for its largest drop in 2 years. The investors only acted because of growing fears of the worldwide pandemic as the virus took hold in multiple countries, threatening to disrupt the global commerce. Trump also spent Monday visiting the Taj Mahal and other cultural sites and tried to protect a sense of calm after the markets closed. The coronavirus is very much under control in the U.S., he wrote on Twitter, which it's really not. We are in contact with everyone in all relevant countries. CDC and World Health have been working hard and very smart. Stock market started to look very good to me, and it really didn't. Minutes later, the squatter turned to retweeting posts about FBI surveillance, socialism, and public funding. For a squatter who has governed by tweet and circus, a potential global health crisis that blunts economic growth could expose one of 45's main weaknesses as he prepares to face voters in November, said Russell Riley, a squatteral historian at the University of Virginia's Miller Center. Having hollowed out the senior leadership of so many departments of the government, especially in the scientific community, he is now in desperate need of professional guidance among people he has abused for 3 years, Riley said. If the markets continue to drop and the medical news get very bad, then this squatter is singularly ill-prepared to deal with it in a rational manner. Behind the scenes, the 45 administration rushed to expand its response to the coronavirus and rebound from missteps that had drawn the squatter's ear and raised questions about the government's readiness to address the outbreak. The White House requested an emergency spending package from Congress seeking about $1.8 million to combat the virus, part of a $2.5 billion total government response effort, according to a letter sent by Monday to the Office of Management and Budget. The funding would support all aspects of the U.S. response, wrote acting OMB Director Russell Volt, mentioning costs for quarantining, vaccine development, and preparedness, among others. Because this funding arises from an unforeseen, unanticipated event and it is necessary for the protection of human life, the supplemental resources should be designated as emergency funding. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien has discussed possible options for global coalitions and outreach with other senior White House officials in recent days, according to a White House official and a veteran repug who have been briefed in the deliberations. One option includes having 45 called for a UN Security Council meeting to force China to share more information about the outbreak, which began in December in Wuhan and quickly spread from the world's most populous nation. But those conversations remain preliminary and no decisions have been made about whether 45 will ratchet up his pressure on China or global groups in the coming days, those two people said. When asked if O'Brien and others are mulling a push at the UN, a spokesperson for the National Security Council said in a statement that the situation is dynamic and has the potential to change very quickly, and we are preparing mitigating strategies that could be necessary if the situation does change. Longtime 45 associates and observers said that the squatter and his team are not panicked, but are aware of the political cost of a sustained market drop. If he gets a real correction, a 10 to 15% downdraft in the market, it'll take one of the legs off of a very big part of his re-election campaign, said financier Anthony Scaramucci, that one-time White House communications director who has broken with 45. Major repug donors are closely tracking developments in the political consequences, and not just of the coronavirus, with the rise of Senator Bernie Sanders, who's an independent from Vermont, in the Democratic presidential race. These two issues, a veteran GOP financier Stephen Swick said, are now front and center for the party's leading donors. We've always said the squatter has a better shot of being reelected in a good market, but there was talk of whether there could be a black swan event that changes things, Wick said, and longtime organizer for former House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senator Mitt Romney, who are Republican from Utah. 45's allies have followed the squatter's lead in downplaying talk of a major economic slump resulting from this outbreak. I don't think he's disturbed by the ups and downs in the market, Chris Rudy, a former 45 competent and chief executive of Newsmax Media, said the economy is strong and that even if it weakened a little bit, it'd still have a great record. It's not really looking that strong as it is. Still, Rudy said that a months-long market downturn could be problematic for 45's re-election. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro insisted in an interview that the administration is working aggressively to coordinate the federal response, including speeding up efforts to find a vaccine for a virus that has spread to more than 25 countries. He says we're working on 45 time, Navarro said Monday. That means you go fast as possible, like seeking to cut vaccine development time in half. Navarro, who appeared on on Monday, was one of the 45 allies who tried to calm the markets by arguing that the U.S. economy remains strong and that 45 is in command. Really, he's not. National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow encouraged Americans to buy more stocks in 45's re-election campaign, released a statement praising the stock market's ongoing bull run. The stock market has continuously broken records under 45, boosted 401ks across the country. Bullshit! So, that was a spokesperson, Kayleigh McEnany, said. 45's campaign also defended the squatter crisis, pointing in his early steps to block some travel from China. But internal tensions have plagued the administration's response, which is being run by a task force with O'Brien and Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar at the helm. 45 and Hazar, their department have clashed in recent days over the handling of the repatriation of Americans with the virus. 45 grew furious at senior advisors last week over a decision to allow 14 Americans who tested positive for the virus to return to the United States from Japan, after being assured that infected patients will remain in quarantine overseas, according to the administration officials. He again became irate after learning over the weekend that federal officials plan to house some coronavirus patients in an Alabama facility, despite the protests from local officials. 45 personally stepped in to block the plan, which the Alabama Governor Kay Ivey said wasn't fully vetted. It was poorly handled, Rogers told reporters on Monday, adding that 45 used colorful language to express his displeasure during a call from Air Force One. The squatter just told me in our third phone call yesterday somebody's going to get fired over this, and he says, but I don't know who yet. Azar will be facing members of Congress this week for hearings about the proposed budget starting Tuesday. He likely will be pressed over on the administration's handling of the coronavirus. While the White House is requesting $1.8 billion from Congress, there is a debate inside the administration about whether the request should be far larger, according to a senior administration official who requested anonymity to discuss internal plans. He says it's going to start about $1 billion and will go from there, but the numbers are fluid, the official said. By comparison, the Obama administration requested $6 billion in emergency funding during the 2014 Ebola crisis. The coronavirus outbreak has infected more than 77,000 people, killing at least 2,600. Countries including South Korea, Japan, Italy, and Iran have seen their number of cases rise in recent days, in some cases really dramatically. An additional 18 people in the United States have tested positive for the coronavirus, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention officials said that Monday, bringing the total number of confirmed U.S. cases to 53 people. Democrats have slammed the 45 administration's response, calling it haphazard and lax. The 45 administration has been asleep at the wheel, said Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on Monday. 45. He was being sarcastic here. 45. Good morning. There was a pandemic of coronavirus. Where are you at? He was just being sarcastic on that tweet, but yeah.